gamer, I prefer the storytelling in the game. It's like, who want to pick up a novel? Yeah, I mean, who wants to get off the game and pick up a novel and read it?
You know, they're there for people that want to really, again, when we talk about the strengths of novels, when you can really get inside a character's head, that would be, it would be painful to go through Vol'jin's voyage in-game where he's got to talk, and there's so many talking scenes where you're really getting into what he's doing. There'd be no gameplay there. So to really explore that character, that's the strength of a novel. That's what a novel can do really well. And we try and play to the strengths of whatever medium we develop for. So when we develop a graphic novel, we want to play to the strengths of the graphic novel. When we develop a text novel, we want to play to the strengths of the text novel. And when you're in the game, we want to really play to the strengths of what's in the game. So I totally respect that you don't want to read the novel. That's cool. That's actually something we struggle with. We want to make sure that nothing is happening in our universe where you feel obliged to read the novel just to understand what's going on. And sometimes we haven't done a good job at that, I freely admit. But yeah, I think that answers your question. And I totally respect that opinion.
We only got about 5 more minutes.
Hello. I totally agree with the gameplay first saying, because there's a moment in Myst where you black out when you're at the banquet, and I play on a PvP server, so I wake up and I'm dead. But my question is...
That's probably a bug. When you black out, you really should not be gankable.
Yeah, that's true. It's terrible. But my question is, it seems like such an overwhelming task to gather up the little bits of lore that are around surrounding characters, especially ones that have been in-game since vanilla. I was wondering how you guys go about gathering up that lore so that you can tie it into the novel surrounding the character.
Micky can talk about that because we have a whole group of specialists.
Yes, we do. So those would be our historians, and they're fantastic at what they do, and pretty much that's their job to know all the background, everything else, not only in the published products, in the games themselves, in the manuals, I mean everything that's going on, and they're the ones who really give the stamp of approval. So for instance, as Michael is writing the Vol'jin novel, there will come a point at the novel where the manuscript will be passed off to the historians, and they're going to look at it and they're going to make sure people's eye colors are correct and just all kinds of crazy stuff, and that's the level of detail that we dig down into because we know people are going to notice. Certain people are going to read the novels, and Red Shirt Guy is going to come and just right. So we're, yeah, we do that with everything that we do. Historians are the unsung heroes.
No, Michael, did you get a dump from our historians as you started writing? Did you get a lot of information?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got sent plenty of information, and also when I was out there, I think I got the crash course in the history, which is only 4.5 hours. So usually it's a 2-day process, but I was there for a limited amount of time. So.
I'm a big fan of Michael Stackpole's. I really loved Dragon Crown Cycle. I love Rose Squad and all that stuff. I'm really glad you guys have brought your voice to the Blizzard universe. They're definitely, I love the fact that you're a novelist who's going to come in and bring your power here. I wanted to ask, what kind of framing, or essentially, how much control did you have over your story that you're doing for Vol'jin, and how much came from Blizzard, and essentially, were you allowed to say, okay, you can't go beyond a certain point, or you can't develop in a certain direction?
Anytime you work on someone else's property, everybody does it differently. The way this worked was actually kind of cool. They knew what they wanted Vol'jin to go through in general, the situation, but it wasn't down to specific events per se. And they sent me that document early, and I got to read that before I actually met with everybody. And I think in the first meeting, I just opened with, hey, look, I've read all you guys want. I think doing this is going to be possible, but if I'm going to do it, I also need to do this. I need to drag this guy in because he's going to provide these contrasts, and we're going to set this stuff up. And then a lot of things, end up being circumstantial as we went back and forth with the outlines. I think we went through three rounds of approval on the outline. In the second round, it was pointed out that we had characters sort of retreading the same geography, and just as a change, why don't we send them over here accomplish this over here and back. Now, accomplishing that, going to that place, then gave me other points and other touchstones and other conflicts or things that I had to resolve within the character. So for me, this was just a wonderful process where they had they said, look, you know, at the end of the day, we want a bushel basket of Vol'jin. You know, up to you how you're going to gather this stuff, you know, but here are the best places to go. And so it worked out really, really well as far as I was concerned.
Thank you.
Have you thought about, or is there any current work or maybe something in the future that goes into the metaphysics of the universe? Like how player characters can do certain things and non-player characters can do other things? You killed my brother, now I have to wait 5 minutes for him to walk back and raise. You know, I mean, sure, there's the need of drama, but is there anything that explains that difference?
It's a good question, because sometimes with gameplay first, you just want to let the game just be the game. You know, when Pandaren choose a faction, why can't they talk with each other then? Well, because we don't really want the Alliance and Horde talking, and there's not really good lore excuse for why you can't talk to the guy that you were just adventuring with 5 minutes ago. It's one of those things we just say, yeah, that's gameplay. Oh, all the player characters can resurrect themselves and pop back up from battle healing when they're dead, but you know, an NPC might die this grand heroic death and there'll be nothing you can do about it. Gameplay.
So do you think you're getting maybe like a Kane's journal or something that gets into that kind of stuff?
We're cooking some stuff up, but at the same time, I don't think you should really expect that there'll be some ironclad explanation for why how Hearthstones work or anything like that. Yeah. It's a good question, but probably there's some things we're just going to leave to the magic of gameplay.
Real quick, I don't know if you're going to be able to answer this or not, but have you been moved over to Titan, or have you been like going in between?
We don't talk about Titan.
What is Titan?
Fair enough.
Top men are working on top projects. Top.
In class.
Okay. My friend and I are both druids. I'm really wondering if you're ever going to actually get into Emerald Dream, and if there's going to be a rogue god involved in it, because there's going to be this expansion, but
there are lots of corners of the universe that will someday be explored, and I'm certain that we'll spend a lot of time in the Emerald Dream at some point. Not in 5.0. Yeah, we just got the 1 minute, so yeah.
1 minute? Oh, time's up? Okay. All right. Sorry. Thanks for joining us, everybody.